Fuck these nihilist cunts.
Boom, making a video. Yes, Efilism video. Anyway, Snakepliskinism has the highest viewed video on the subject, so I figure I'll do another reply video to him, right? So it's a video from 3 months ago. He likes doing old people, people's older videos. He does do this responding to older videos thing. So I figure I can give it a shot too. So maybe I'll jump through it actually. We'll just see how it goes. You know, see what happens. I don't even remember the video, to tell you the truth, much about it, but you know, this guy I thoroughly enjoyed this. Well done, Snakemeister. Yeah, You're right, I'm the one with the cult. Look at the 204 comments. Amazing. I really ought to do the comments, right? Did we throw out a caveman recently? I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? I don't know what that means. Oh, thaw out a caveman. A lot of resentment, negativity, bitterness in the mix. I can only speculate what is at the root of it. Enjoyed this. Yeah, that's Philly Duder. I love duders. Oh, it's a dudder. Like some kind of something. Anyway, this kind of a funny beginning phase. Anyway, let's play along. For fun.
Well, I hate to seem like I'm going backwards and I haven't learned my lesson, but I'm going to make another inmendham video because, okay, I know, you don't want to see it. I lose subscribers every time I make one, but when I was doing that video on that girl Pink Moon 831, and she's a fan of inmendham, she's an Efilism, and I learned what an Efilism is. So I'm just going to go ahead and point by point go through inmendham's definition.
I bet you aren't. But anyway, we'll see. Yeah, and I still want you to clear up this whole eye patch thing, because really, it's still, you know, the excuse of the, oh yeah, that's the one they gave me at the hospital, and I can't find a smaller eye patch, and the, you know, Amazon.com, I bet I could probably find a really nice, you know, stylish eye patch. I think you could just buy one in the costume shop for, you know, cheap. I mean, this thing is just outrageously bizarre. And why don't you just explain what happened? Why do you leave? I mean, I'm just automatically, you know, distrustful of people who, you know, have like, I'm going to be interesting by being secretive. It's just sort of irritating. I mean, you must know that somebody's going to be curious. Well, how'd you lose your eye? I mean, fork accident? Fork lift? Fork something? Something forky? I mean, well, you know you would be curious. Why would you leave people curious? That's just so, like, you know, it's just not like, that's not like being like a human chum. You know, that's sort of like being a fuckhead. Yeah, that's what it is. You're a fuckhead.
Of Efilism, and my disagreements with the philosophy. This is going to be a philosophy talk. Seriously, don't watch this shit. Don't.
Yeah, response video to Pink Moon, and yeah, the subject of Efilism. An explanation, because some people have complained that this. Yeah, he doesn't really do the whole play the whole video thing, so I don't even know why he does this part where he like, you know, does the clips that are like pointless. It's not a simple description of what it is to be antinatalist plus.
I didn't even know it existed a few days ago, but now that I do, I would like a good definition. And I mean, I loved antinatalism so much, I mean, I'll just really love antinatalism plus. Sort of.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is written down in places and stuff. You know, these basic arguments, imposition argument, non-consent, fundamental flaw, you know, and then the whole life history thing, like what is life, you know, the consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction thing, yeah.
Like the way I liked atheism, and I just love atheism plus. Oh, wait.
Alright, whatever you want to call it. Efilism. So yeah, it's just life spelled backwards. Just a way of saying I believe that there's something fundamentally broken in the natural mechanism, that it is unintelligent design, and that has a consequence. That unintelligent design means insufficient efficiency in the system.
Inmendham, I don't say this to many people. In fact, I've never even said this once to anyone. But it sounds like you need Jesus. Yeah.
Oh, whatever. So, yeah, so that's the extent of the argument, right? So here you have a fundamental... The fact is that life, this is what life is made out of, right? An unintelligent design. So it's made by of forces that are completely ignorant of what's good or bad kind of thing. Like what's too much, what's the right amount. They don't know warm porridge from hot porridge from cold porridge. They don't know nothing about making no porridge. And so it's fundamentally going to be messy. You just have to concede that from the start. It's going to be messy. And it might be so broken that you can't fix it. Like there's just no way you can do it without it blowing up, without it melting down, without it going into some sort of, you know, horrible, horrible people on fire kind of mess.
I mean, seems like you need to believe in some sort of intelligent creator guiding this entire fucking thing.
No, I mean, there's no argument that I need that. What I needed was to be left the fuck alone. That's the argument of Efilism, is that, yes, you retards who are entertained easily, with simple desires, like, oh, I'm hungry, ooh, I'm horny, ooh, I want to go, watch a parade. You drink your way through some of your life, so yeah, that's your entertainment. Isn't everything just a parade then, right? But yeah, if you're not entertained by those simple things, and you realize that this is a little bit serious, there is like real horror happening, real horror, yeah, that's just, it's fundamentally really, really broken, and you just want to mock that. You don't want to deal with it. You just want to say, oh, well, let's just pretend it doesn't exist, and let's just say anybody who notices it's flawed, we'll just tell them to go find God. I mean, is that what you do? Like, say if some company like, DuPont decides to put a chemical storage facility next to your house, is that going to be your attitude? Like, I don't, go, you want them to tell you to go find Jesus if you start asking a few questions about how well the design is, how careful they're going to be, how much they understand exactly what they're doing. So when you start to ask those questions, if DuPont says to you, go find God, you apparently want a God, you'll do what? Yeah, make a video? Yeah, fuck you.
And if there isn't one, well, fuck it. I can't live with the unguidedness. I mean, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes, it's not just unguidedness. It's perpetual 3.5 billion years of machines beating the crap out of each other. Yeah, and 500 million years of it with them going, ouch. All right, with the game being really real. I mean, getting eaten to death kind of real. And yeah, you want to just mock it. Ha ha ha, it's been going on for 500 million years. Why should I give a shit? I mean, that's just too fucking brilliant, right? I'm supposed to I'm supposed to sit there and say, gee, I'm so impressed with that logical argument. The fuck it, I just ignore it argument. The argument from let's just ignore it. Yeah, sorry. Not even close.
For efficiency, what?
All right, let's go, video. Come on.
Well, efficiency is kind of relative. Like, I could have a car.
No, it's not kind of relative. It kind of is or isn't. You're kind of like if you were making rubber bands, and the machine ate rubber bands to make rubber bands, right? You had to put some rubber bands in. You had to prime it, so to speak. Yeah, and if you had to put in more rubber bands, like you had to put 15 into the machine to get 12 out, well, that wouldn't be working, would it?
And say, hey, this isn't fuel efficient. But if there are no other cars, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Right? Similarly,
It doesn't really matter, see? So that's how it is for him. It just doesn't matter, because this is the way it is. This is the way nature made it. It just doesn't matter how bad it is. So you can have World War 3, 4, 5, 7, 12, doesn't matter. You can cook, burn, saute human beings all you want, and the animals, of course, you just, yes, let's just totally not even acknowledge that there's some problem with the carnage that takes place in nature. The fact that most organisms don't live 1/10 of their natural lifespan. They don't even achieve that, and they're killed. Not in, like I said, even dying the natural way. Is there anything good about it? I mean, you either die of living long enough to degrade enough where your system breaks down, or you're going to die because something screws you, foobars you to pieces. And it can take, and that process of dying can be slow and agonizing and awful. I mean, really, you're doing something. You and your friends are all doing something good enough to justify the months of suffering that, say, some of the people in Hiroshima went through after the radiation sickness. There's something you're doing that you're so impressed with that you would impose that on them again. And there's every likelihood we'll impose it again. And, yeah, you're happy with that. You're comfortable with that. Yeah. Why? God says so? Oh, the DNA says so. The same thing as a God.
You can't come up with anything more efficient than life as we know it. So it doesn't matter. The energy's not going to be used for anything else, so it doesn't matter how inefficient it is. And you can't even, in principle, come up with something that's more efficient.
Wow, brilliant. Well, of course I could come up with something more efficient. I mean, I could modify what exists and make it more efficient by making the animals less sentient, take away all the unnecessary suffering. I mean, the obvious stuff where, yeah, you break your leg and it hurts. Well, yeah, I would just have your leg, I don't know, turn rainbow colors or something. That indicates it's broken. Some other thing. I'd create disability. I'd make the leg unusable, but I wouldn't give you horrific pain to make you incapable of using it. Some kind of mechanism like that. So obviously we could mitigate against a lot of the suffering that's built into the structure just because the design is bad. So we could even virtual reality. We can do a lot of things to get out of the inefficiency, how much fuel, how much suffering we're expending for the trivial gratification of your hungry, horny, I want to watch a parade bullshit. And it means that the product of the system, the living things, are likewise not likely to be efficiently functioning. That means they're taking, not on purpose, but just in function, consuming more than they produce.
What the fuck are you even talking about? At one time there was no life on Earth, and now we're ass deep in life on Earth. So, I mean, all that life was produced. I mean,
Yeah, right. Well, again, we're talking about psychology, we're talking about consciousness, not talking about physical life, and the value exchanges in the conscious states. Quite obviously, people measure whether they're going to go do something. Like go on vacation. If going on vacation meant you went to the dentist for 2 weeks, just sat in a dentist chair for 2 weeks, got all your teeth drilled out, well, then people wouldn't go on vacation because they associate vacation with a bad thing. So, again, we understand what suffering is. We understand what displeasure is and discomfort and all those kind of things. And that's the price you pay for your life. You go to work and endure the discomfort so you can make money, so you can buy yourself some comfort. And it's these exchanges that I'm saying in most of our life ends up to be kind of difficult to pull off. You can't even breathe here on Earth without obliging the biosphere. The sentient creatures in the rest of the biosphere have to be going through all this carnage to provide you this stuff you breathe. Every step you take, there's a little bit of a crunch. It's probably going to involve something neurological getting squished or damaged and going, ouch.
I mean, I guess that's not really a great accomplishment, but what do you want here, inmendham? It seems like you're strangely judgmental towards things that are inherently non-emotional. I mean, you're really, like...
Not emotional. Again, so it's not about having emotion. But, I mean, obviously they're connected to things that people are emotional about. But to say that life is inherently something no one should be emotional about, the process of dying shouldn't be something we're emotional about. The quality of our life, whether we're living on a garbage heap and our kids die of hepatitis, is something we shouldn't be emotional about. Of course it's something you should be emotional about. Cute kitty gets squished by a car. You shouldn't be emotional about it. Sure you should be emotional about it. It's perfectly reasonable to be emotional about it because it's a bad thing that you wouldn't want happen to yourself. So empathy is almost automatically invoked. You just almost can't avoid it because you know you wouldn't want it to happen to you.
Super judgmental about this shit. It's like insane how judgmental you are.
I don't know. That's again, so that's what brains are supposed to do: is make judgments. That's the greatest faculty we have is the fact that we can make comparisons and make judgments and put things in categories. Put things in categories of being efficient or inefficient, functional, dysfunctional, necessary, unnecessary. These are all words we have for qualities or properties that things can have, and we can put them in their categories. Now, the truth is that without some sort of divine strategy, some God who has a secret plan. Well, if you don't have God's secret plan anymore, then all you have is replication for the sake of replication at this huge price of billions of sentient creatures going through very unpleasant conscious experiences every moment of our existence. Billions of them. For what? So you can make jokes about their suffering. That's pretty much all you're doing, right? So that's your entertainment. You find it entertaining to mock the failure of the system. So, I mean, maybe you should make, maybe you could make some Fukushima jokes. Just make some other jokes that maybe people will get. They'll get your cynicism completely. I mean, being cynical about animals, well, everybody does that, so that's no big deal. Laugh about the poor roadkill. Yeah, everybody does that. That's big fun. Well, why don't you be more honest and make your jokes a little more directly, and make them right and drive them right home. Okay, so make some Jewish concentration jokes, some nuclear bomb jokes, and maybe some dementia, Alzheimer's jokes. That'd be really good. Maybe you could do that for us. And then you'd be a more honest character.
I'm just going to say that. It's almost like you feel that you have been judged harshly in your life, and you, in turn, will judge life itself harshly.
Yeah, no, I never felt any judging eyes. I mean, I did the judging, that's right. When I was born, when I arrived on Earth, I don't know when that is, right? 3 years old, whatever. When I arrived on Earth, I looked around and I started making judgments. That's right. And right from the beginning, I said, this is all pretty fucked up. And I looked up at the adults and I said, why is it fucked up? And they said silly shit like, well, it's God's will, or some kind of mumbo-jumbo. And I was like, whoa, that's a good enough answer for you? Santa Claus says so? Not even close. Yeah, so I started doing some personal experiments, and I started, communing with nature to try to understand what was going on here, why it made sense. What was going on here, and I realized that everything was just being a victim of this reproduction thing. That's all. The caterpillars on the tree didn't want to be there. None of this shit wanted to be there. It was all just thrown here and told, basically, keep yourself in one piece or it's going to hurt like hell. And keeping yourself in one piece incidentally forces you to continue living. And it's just the mechanism. It's that insidious. It compels you to live because being put into the non-living state is not going to be a good time.
That's just what it feels like to me.
That they have nothing they can produce. So I've used terms like zero-sum game to describe life, because you're basically just stealing energy perpetually.
See, and here you are with your emotionally charged, judgmental world.
Whoa, stealing energy perpetually is emotionally charged. Yeah, well, it just has to do with the fact that we're in a competitive game, so that's sort of how you describe it, right? I mean, when you could, yeah, you've probably even seen cartoons where they're in a competition, they'll be like stealing shit for like the turtle will steal the rabbit's sneakers or something, because it's a competitive game, okay? And so, yeah, the idea of stealing or cheating or maneuvering is just part of the mechanism. But yeah, the idea is that we basically are thieves, all right? We don't ask permission. We don't have a fair exchange. We don't give, like, the things we consume. We don't give them fair dollar bills. We don't pay the pigs, to be tortured. We don't reward them in some way. So we do steal it. We just take it because we have the power to take it. So it's a perfectly adequate and appropriate way to describe what we do here and what most of the other animals are doing. Like I said, I think by nature we're vegetarians, so at least we weren't as bad as if we were Tyrannosauruses having this conversation. It'd be even more difficult, because we'd have this direct biology that demanded the bloodthirst kind of thing. But again, it's hardly emotional rhetoric, just to describe it the way it is. We take the welfare of other sentient creatures and then say it's all okay because we just pretend they don't exist. And that's it's a preposterous lie, and it just makes the word thief even the human race deserves a worse word, because it won't even own up to it. I mean, it won't even own up to the fact that is the mechanism. The mechanism is a take. There's no consent and there's no fairness. It's a bad contract, and we enforce it and impose it, and then call it justice. No. Call it okay, because what? A DNA molecule said it's okay. So because a DNA molecule says it's okay, isn't that me looking up and saying why? Isn't that just as dumb an answer as God says so? The DNA says so? I think that's as dumb an answer.
Or stealing. Like, stealing? Is that really the appropriate word to use right here? I mean, once again, judgmental. Crazy.
Yeah, whatever. Judgmental, that's right. Intelligence judges. That's what intelligence things do. We always presume that the people judging something are usually people qualified to judge, and they usually have some sort of expertise or knowledge. That's what things that are smart do. They judge. Yeah. So anyway, probably enough of a video for now. Maybe I'll just make this in parts over a few days or something. Maybe I'll come back to this. We're at 4 minutes and 4 minutes 10 seconds. I'll write that down. I don't know whether it's relevant. But yeah, this video was much worse than I thought it was. I mean, it's not even close to being on the subject so far. And then I know there's some part in here where it's just going to do the little, whiny bullshit, and like real men don't judge. I guess that's his argument. Real men don't judge. They just drink wine coolers and wear preposterously huge eye patches because they're real men. I guess. Sorry. No sale and all that shit. So, anyway, till next time.